Good morning, guys. Episode 26 of the Great Farm Cleanup. We've hit the ground running this morning. I've been out in the shed early. I actually lit the fire because it was quite chilly, but now it's a nice day. The wind has finally stopped and we're really making some progress. The wool, however, didn't get picked up today. That's going to be tomorrow morning. Yes, good morning, Coco. She's wide awake and ready to run around, but locked in the farm, in the house yard. We've bought all the wool over here from the shearing shed as well, so there's a big pile of it here. And there's still most of it in the barn, so that will go tomorrow morning. I will film that. And that leaves these freezer bodies totally empty. I've just done some photographs of these. I'm going to try and give them away on Facebook because they are great storage for feed, or for, as you saw, as for wool or things you don't want mice to get into. Sure, they look a bit rough, but they're good storage. There's no compressors or anything in them. They've both been gutted, so there's no worries about them being heavy or having old refrigerant gas in them or anything like that. If I can't give them away, we'll take them out to the transfer station as scrap metal. They should be free because there's no gas involved. However, this old fridge will probably cost us to get rid of. I don't think it works and it's still complete, so I'll just chop the cord off. I don't want to release the gas, of course, being responsible, and we'll take that to the transfer station perhaps another time. But I thought I might load up the trailer with some rubbish. Just general stuff out of the sheds that has to go. There's a bit of stuff in here too, including some old belts off machinery. Can't do anything with those. And there's a heap of old bags from the barn that have gone a bit rotten because the sun's got into them. Again, you can't do anything with those. You don't want microplastics going in everywhere. There's some old, I think that's like old Laminex or Formica. Don't think it's got a use. So we're going to get pretty well a trailer load of rubbish. And I will take that out next trip I'm home because the transfer station here is only open every, I think, Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings, and we'll be going back Thursday morning. There's some stuff on here to get rid of as well. The other thing that's happened this morning is the big pile of scrap metal that was out here has been picked up. Ross was here, or his offsider was here this morning with the truck, and that's all gone now. The chickens are looking around for tasty bugs for their breakfast. So we can run the mower over this now and neaten the whole yard up. And that was all just light gauge pressing steel and just wire and bits of tin and stuff that's no good to send to the scrapyard, but they will take it out at the transfer station. So that cleans that up very well. Now I have a pallet full of bricks here. I've just put a photo of them on Facebook, just the local groups to give away if anyone wants some secondhand bricks. So the yard's looking really clean. As far as these drums go, I tried to sell them last time at $5 each. I did sell two. I thought I might take the real heavy gauge ones back to Nagambie. They will sell quite well there as fire pits or all sorts of uses actually. They're very heavy, very strong drums, whereas the light gauge ones we might just run down to the machinery graveyard and they can go as scrap. I'll leave the ad on Facebook, and if anyone wants any they can come and pick them up while I'm home, and that will clean up this area. The stock crate there goes on the tandem trailer, so we'll just leave that here for now because the trailer's being useful. We also have some treated pine posts, which there's a few more around the farm as well, so I'll gather them all together and I'll try and get rid of those. They should sell. They won't bring a great deal. If we have a big enough pile we might do like $50 a lot. And the tyres, of course, will cost us. We've already done a big load of tyres out to the transfer station, and it's not cheap to get rid of them, but it's the best way you can do it responsibly, because you certainly wouldn't be very caring for the planet if you put a match to them. I'm not sure what happens with them, whether they actually get recycled somehow. I would like to think they are repurposed into road base or some form of reusing the rubber. But certainly we've, it's going to cost us a bit to get rid of those. There's a small pile of hardwood timber here, which is quite useful. I must get that out of the weeds here, and that will clean up this whole section of yard, which is absolutely fantastic. And there's more action happening inside the farmhouse. Christine's hard at work in here. How are you going? Well, our lighting's not so good for filming in here. Check out the retro light shade. So we're sorting out some old clothes, or at least Christine is. Some of Mum's old wardrobe, some stuff that's been put away for a long time.
And I've got some hemming to do, or mending to do.
Okay, so Christine's got some work.
And I'm pinching some fabric.
Okay, so any of you that are on Christine's channel and like to see what she creates out of rescued fabric?
This is one of your mum's scarves, so
okay,
that'll be something nice one day.
Very good, fantastic. So a lot of this will go to the opportunity shop or thrift store for some of you. We'll take it back to Nagambie probably. So yeah, just lots of stuff in the cupboards that hasn't been touched for a long, long time. How's the retro woolen blanket? I remember that from a kid. That'd be 70s, wouldn't it? They actually sell pretty well, those blankets, don't they?
They do, very well.
There's a classic travel rug. We used to play cards on that one. Memories everywhere I look. It's later in the day now, and I thought I might tackle one of these mattresses. In the last episode, someone mentioned burning it and then throwing the wire inner spring assembly to the scrap metal pile at the tip, and that'll be for free. And yes, that's a way of avoiding the $40 per mattress charge, but I don't really want to burn them. Some of them probably wouldn't be too bad, just being fabric and maybe cotton, but some of them are going to have a lot of polyester and terrible stuff to burn. So what I'm going to try and do is just basically cut around the edge and see if I can essentially skin them, and that will achieve the same result. We'll get the inner spring to take to the scrap metal pile for free, and I think the fabric can then just go in the rubbish trailer, and there will be a charge for rubbish, but we've got to do loads of rubbish anyway, and it certainly will work out much better than $40 per mattress. If the padding is possibly a biodegradable product, we might put it in the compost bin here. I've certainly done trials in my earlier videos on worms eating the padding out of mattresses, and I've done a couple of videos on deconstructing a mattress and, you know, the best way to get rid of all the stuff for no cost, but it does take a fair bit of time. So I'll try this one, and I think this one is a base, so that's going to have a timber frame on the bottom. So we might try these two, and then if I'm loading up the trailer later today or in the morning, I can throw the padding and the material on the trailer and put the spring wire bases aside for the scrap metal pile. Oh, mattresses are always so awkward to move, especially when you've got crook shoulders. So yeah, come on, pull it apart. Now I'm wondering if we can just sort of cut it in the middle and peel it off. Oh, okay. Well, it's going to cut pretty well. Hopefully we don't make too much of a mess. Alright, I better get a bag for all this padding before it goes everywhere. So much for my work crew. Mind your paws. Come on, hop off. Oh yeah, that's very helpful, Coco. Okay, well that's not too difficult. I think we'll peel the top and the bottom like I did, and that can just go straight in the rubbish trailer. And then the rest of it, rather than trying to get this stuff off, it's like a horsehair type. I think that would burn quite well without any real toxic smoke. And then all we're left with is the wire spring assembly inside. So it's basically the same each side. So I think we'll get rid of this stuff because it looks like cotton waste, but I did a worm test on this years ago and the worms didn't touch it. So there may be quite a bit of synthetic material in there. So I don't really want to burn that. So we can just bag that up. I'm sure this will burn because worms used to eat this. It did take a long, long time, but it does rot down. So I think that will burn quite well. It'll leave us with just a spring wire base, and we'll have two piles like that, one from each side, and a bit of loose stuff in a bag. And that will save us $40 for one mattress. Okay, this side's coming off a lot easier, but I'm here to tell you that deconstructing a mattress is so much easier if you don't have a dog. Come on, out of the road, you. Yeah. So this side's peeling off great. So we'll roll this up with the other bit. Come on, get off, hey. Well, that was actually easier than expected. I'm going to put a match to that later, and I think it'll burn fairly cleanly. I don't think it'll generate a lot of pollution, and it should leave us just with metal to take to the scrapyard. And we only have a little bit in a bag and 2 rolled up, basically like blankets. So there'll be no issues putting those in the rubbish trailer. So there we go. I might try the big base next and see what's involved in that one. Now, for some reason I lost audio for this section, so I'll have to voice over this. The base was quite heavy, but at least they're rigid. They're a bit easier to move than a normal mattress. We're going to have padding on the top part only, I would think. Again, Coco needs to suss out the situation. So I'll run a blade around the sides. We'll take the top off, and hopefully that will roll up, similar to the other mattress. Now, the padding in this one is different. It's not that multicolored cotton waste type padding. This padding I've actually had before, and the worms do eat it. It does actually compost, and it even burns quite cleanly, but I think it'll be great in the compost bin. I've certainly done trials earlier in my worm testing days, and it does disappear quite quickly. So yeah, I think we can get rid of all that naturally. Then underneath that we have some hessian just across the top of the springs. So that will burn fine, piece of hessian. And the bottom is actually just the timber frame. So all really need to do is take the polyester type top coating or top sheet off it, and then the rest of it pretty well is all recyclable. So with the padding removed, we've only just got this is upside down. I'll flick the mattress base upside down here, removing just the last of the side pieces of the top sheet. And the bottom sheet here is like a cotton, very light cotton, or maybe like a calico. Again, a natural material, so that I think I'll just throw that on the fire. It'll disappear to nothing in no time at all. It's very light. It's quite an open weave, so no issues there. As for the base there, you can see it's quite a nice sturdy timber base on it, but there's no padding at all on the bottom side, which means we have very little rubbish to get rid of. There's really just this top sheet, and that's all the rubbish from this mattress base. You can see the ones are rolled up from the mattress itself, and then we have a bag of this stuff, which I think I'll just tip in one of Mum's compost bins, and we'll check it next time we're home. So now I thought I'd see how these burn, just to see if they aren't much of a hassle. Obviously you can't do this if you live in an urban environment and there's restrictions on burning. We have a spot out here where staples and that in the ground aren't going to matter. So I thought I'd try a little bit of this cotton waste stuff as well, because I think it would burn quite fine to get rid of it. But as I said earlier, it actually makes good compost. So we'll light this up. The timber on this frame is actually quite good, and I have reused these timber frames before, but it does take a lot of time to pull all the staples out. I don't need the timber, I don't have the time, but if you look back on my earlier videos of deconstructing mattresses, I actually used the timber and it was very handy, but it was very time consuming getting all these springs and things out. So we might just light this one up first and see what it does. I kind of figure it might smoulder a bit. I don't think it's going to burn vigorously. And then the hessian here on the top will probably burn pretty quickly, and we might then put the timber over the top of this other one once Coco gets out of the road. I've moved the branches from this pile because I don't want too big a fire at the moment. It's more or less just an experiment to see if we can get rid of this, and then I might tomorrow morning perhaps I might pull a few more mattresses apart and try and clean them up this way. Certainly well worth the time. It was easy to do, and if these clean up quite well like this, and we only have springs to take to the tip for free, it's a very economical way of getting rid of them and being reasonably responsible to the environment as well, because burning a bit of timber and a bit of natural products doesn't really create a lot of pollution. And I don't know what happens when they go to the transfer station anyway. They charge us a lot of money. Perhaps they are recycled somehow, but surely this stuff isn't reusable. I don't know. They can certainly reuse the steel springs. Perhaps they'll reuse the timber, but I would imagine that some of this goes to landfill anyway, so we'll see how we go here. Okay, you're going to have to get off here or you're going to be a hot dog. Let's try this little bit of cotton. Oh, look at that, that burns very quickly. Oh, it probably will smoulder a bit, but it doesn't seem to produce any toxic smoke at all. This piece should burn the same. It's like a fairly thick cotton, but that'll burn away all right. And these fibres, I think, will probably smoulder a bit. So you might need a fairly hot fire to get rid of that. I'm not sure. It might not burn away on its own. But we'll see how it goes. Come on, Coco, you better hop off there. It's not a good place to sleep. Come on. Come on. Oh yeah, that's burning away pretty good. And the smoke doesn't seem very toxic at all. So, all right, we might drop the other base down on top of it and get rid of the timber. It'll be a bit smoky because of the not getting a lot of air through the other mattress, but the smoke certainly doesn't seem to be a black toxic smoke. Doesn't smell bad. I don't think we're going to cause too many environmental issues with a fire like this. We'll check back a little bit later and see what it looks like. Well, that actually burned away better than I expected. It generated a surprising amount of heat, and you can see the bottom mattress, the coils have kind of squashed in a bit. It almost looks like lava there. It's amazing. But yeah, it burned away well. It didn't produce very much smoke at all. It's a bit more smoky now because the heat's gone out of it and it's just sort of smouldering in the corners. And the timber's just burning away, as you can see. So I think that was very successful. I'm going to try and knock apart a few more while the fire's going. And I might pull these frames off if I can before adding more so that I don't get such a big tangle of wire coils. And as they cool down, we can put them in a pile to go to the tip. So now it's early the next morning. We're going to wind up this episode now. The mattresses, very successful. It'll save us. I ended up doing 4 of them, 2 bases and 2 top mattresses. If you're going to do this, obviously more modern mattresses will probably generate more rubbish. The old horsehair stuff and the hessian and the calico burnt fine, but I wouldn't want to burn modern materials if they're all synthetic. So you will generate more rubbish. However, you can certainly circumvent the charge per mattress. I got rid of 4 of them so far. There's $160 saved. The wire springs, I might show you in the next episode, will just go to the tip fine, no problems, as scrap metal. And we have a bit of compost material as well. So we'll finish this episode now. Today I will start filming episode 27. We have the wool buyer coming to clean up the wool. Dad's going to be coming home for a couple of hours or 3 hours, depending how he goes. And I'll show you the area cleaned up where we've moved all the scrap steel from, and I've moved those 44-gallon drums. We'll have a look in the barn, see how that's looking. We've also got a guy coming to pick up the seats, those old hall seats. Lots going on. We'll sign off here for now. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.